My name is Donna Fiesel. I'm your host of Donna's Edge. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And if you can't watch us when the show is on the air live, you can always go back and watch on all of our websites. And you can also find us on Facebook anytime you want to. I have with me right now, let's go ahead and jumpstart. This was some kind of a wild weekend for football, college football. AP Steadham was with us. AP, you are also the host of, going ahead and talk about your other shows.
Yes, it's AP and Kelly as we see it, heard Friday, 4 p.m. Central on ISC Radio. We discuss the Southeastern Conference and keep an eye on the national college football scene as well and other sports. And we have some guests usually, so we have a lot of fun talking about that wild Southeastern Conference, Don. It's getting unpredictable. We don't know who's going to win and lose on Saturdays, and other days they play a football game. So it's a lot of fun.
If I were a betting person, I wouldn't bet. I mean, there is just no way, because let's talk about the Auburn game today. That happened over the weekend, the Auburn-Georgia game.
Yes.
I almost thought Auburn might pull it out.
I'm telling you right now, Auburn ran right through Georgia, 200-plus yards rushing, Donna. It was amazing. I couldn't believe they kept getting on the edge, and then they gashed him in the center as well, right up the middle. So they had an excellent game plan, and they utilized the edge quite effectively with their quarterbacks and running backs, and they had a double-digit lead, 10-0, and Georgia came back. They just could not guard Brock Bowers, the All-American, sensational All-American, number 19. He made some one-handed catches, and then he run through the defense. They couldn't tackle him, and that was that really was the difference, because it was an even ball game. But that one had that one player on their side, number 19, who just particularly the last drive, scored the touchdown, took the ball over the middle, broke a couple of tackles, and headed to the end zone on the far corner.
Well, I think Hugh Freeze, actually, he's showing he's a good coach. What did he do this time he hasn't been doing?
Well, I think what they did down it, what you try to do is condense the game when you don't have the talent of the other team. So you're working on that short passing game with rhythm and timing. And then the offensive line just outplayed the Georgia defensive line. I mean, Don, anybody could call that play, those plays up the middle, but you still have to block. And Georgia normally, in previous years, their defensive line was so big and tough, you couldn't move them at the point of attack. But Auburn just knocked them over on the line of scrimmage. And then Auburn was also, as I said, able to get around the edge all day long.
Did this do anything for Auburn in the rankings?
I don't think it did anything for them in the rankings, except that I believe it was a good step for Auburn. The way they played and fought against the number one team of the country, national TV, big crowd. The stadium was full. They had people on the entrance down on that circular entrance that they have at the corners. They were standing room only there. So a lot of people. It was enthusiastic. They just fell short on that last drive. And, they got some turnovers from Georgia and played good defense throughout. Most of the time, you hold the number one team in the 20s in this day and age, that's a good number. So I think if the defense can still play the same way in the offense, that offensive line can play inspired, because it all starts there, Donna. You can't block anybody. There's no room to run.
Right. So who do they play next?
Oh, yeah, Donna, the next, I got the schedule right here. Yeah, Auburn, I believe they have the off weekend. Yes, they have the off weekend. Then they travel down to Baton Rouge on October 14th to play LSU, who was upset by Ole Miss 55-49. Quite a ball game there, Donna.
Mm-hmm. Archie had a question for me, and Archie wanted me to ask you, what does Auburn need to do? He's a big Auburn fan.
Right, yeah.
Archie wants to know what Auburn needs to do to get up at least in the top 10.
Oh, in the top 10. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I think that'd be a stretch for this team. Archie, I just want to tell you, being very honest, I think it'd be stretched. Like I said, I thought they were a 6-win team, possibly 7 and 8. They upset a few people. So I don't know if they can reach the top 10 this year, but they might be able to reach the top 25 if they, have, like for instance, right now, LSU, they're wounded. They're going back home, and they're not too happy because they thought they'd be in contention to win the SEC West, which they they still could do, but that they weren't expecting to lose to Ole Miss. I don't think last weekend, 50, and have the defense surrender 55 points when the prior, against Alabama, they only give up 10 points. That's 45 points difference. I mean, something's not right there for LSU's defense to give up that many points. Yeah, we know Ole Miss had some sensational players, and maybe a few of them were healthier this week, but you shouldn't be. Donna, you and I could coach 55-point defense.
You'd think.
I think so. I think I could.
I'm
serious. I'm serious. I think I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know you could. I'm questioning my own self.
But Auburn, they have the chance. They have to play LSU, and Ole Miss is a home game. They score a lot of points, as we found out, if they're having a hot day. So that can be an issue because Auburn does not score. They have trouble scoring points. Then you have Mississippi State who's struggling, and they have Vanderbilt up there. So they've got some winnable games in the next 4 games. Arkansas, that'll be a little tougher. They're struggling as well. And then New Mexico State, they definitely be favored in that game. And then Alabama at home. So there's a lot of ball games for Auburn that they can win. They don't have to be pretty. They don't have to be by big scores. You just have to win by 1 point. So there's quite a few games for Auburn but Auburn has to play the type of football, not make a lot of mistakes, a couple penalties maybe, but they can't have 10 penalties, offsides and holding and all those types of things. They can't give the ball away on fumbles, interceptions. So they have to be error free. And that's just to give themselves a chance.
Randy had a really good question, and you've made me think of it with something you said just a minute ago, and that's about coaching. So he said, does a coach, let me find it here. Mm-hmm. Does a coach change the way he coaches variable by the weather?
Yeah, I think so. There's at times if it's rainy and the ball is slippery, maybe you have a tendency
too hot or too cold.
Yeah. Not if it's too. Let's say it's rainy, you don't throw it as much. Maybe if it's too cold, you're worried about their hands. They're being so cold, they don't hold on to the football. So you have to emphasize ball security, Donna. And I'll just tell people this. You're trying to be positive. So you're yelling from the sidelines if you're going to give some instruction. Hold it tight. You're not saying don't fumble, because then the word fumble is in their mind. Mm-hmm. So you say hold it tight, or you yell out ball security, because that's the positive way to coach somebody. Because we know the ball is the most important thing. The possession of the ball is the most important thing. So to answer your question, yeah, there's times when they have to incorporate the weather and the strategy to coach in a game that has some weather factors.
We also had a lot of folks responding to the kicker from this neck of the woods. He's from Fort Payne, Alabama,
right,
from Auburn, and so he did an awesome job. So yeah, that's worth mentioning as well. Yeah.
He had pretty good. Well, I'm gonna have the stats here in front of me, Donna, but yeah, he's having a pretty decent year, I think. Field goals. Yeah, Alex had the field goal, the 27-yarder, and the 42-yarder. So he was good on his 2 attempts.
Yeah, we're proud of him in North Alabama. Absolutely. Now let's talk a bit of Alabama. What did you think of that game?
Yeah, what I saw from Alabama is they're still playing good defense, and the running game is getting better. The offensive line is taking command. But it's always the matchups, Don. I mean, you could block well one week, and then the other team comes in, and they're just the same type of talent. You're not able to move them off the line of scrimmage. But Alabama ran the ball effectively. The quarterback is throwing the short passes with accuracy, and he's taking the time to review and all the options. And he seems to have better vision. The game has, I think, slowed down for him, where his head is on a swivel. He's looking down the field for the open receivers. And I said last week, somewhere, but I did not think that Alabama would score 40 points in an SEC game. They scored 40 points. So that surprised me. That surprised me to score 40 points because their offense was struggling mightily this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody got taken to the woodshed, I think.
They did, yeah. 40 points. Yeah, 40 points on the road. That's pretty good now.
It really is. Now we talked about Auburn and Georgia game, but what does Georgia have to look forward to this coming week?
Yeah, Georgia's a team down there. There's no way they're as good as last year, but it's all relative. Now, you just have to be good enough this year. But defensively on that line, you could see that they're vulnerable against the run. So Georgia this week, Donna, they're going to take on a tough Kentucky team that's undefeated. Kentucky just waxed Florida 33-14 in Lexington. So they're rolling. They had their running back 280 plus yards. He's a transfer from Vanderbilt Davis. So they are playing extremely well. When Kentucky can run the ball, Donna, you better watch out because Devin Leary's a good passer. They have some good young receivers. Mark Stoops, an excellent coach. I don't know. I know that Georgia's concerned because when you give it 200 yards to Auburn, they're not as good a rushing team as Kentucky. But now Kentucky's going to have to visit Athens. It'll be different at atmosphere. But that's a good ball. Could be a good ball game. But Kentucky can't get too proud of themselves because now you're going to play the number one team, Georgia, and that's different than their last two opponents, Vanderbilt and Florida. But Kentucky, if they can maintain that ball control, set that offense of Georgia on the sideline, keep them on the sideline, air free, no turnovers, that could be a real competitive game.
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty of that because Kentucky had to have watched this game. Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking Kentucky.
Up on that.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kentucky watched that Auburn Georgia game. They're thinking, wow, Auburn just knocking them down. They're running up the middle. They're running around the end all day, all night, all long. So many times they're thinking, well, that's our specialty, running. So we should be able to run this football with success. We have a good running back, top running back, one of the better ones in the conference so far. They must be feeling excited.
I bet they are. So how do you think the outcome of that game is going to be?
Well, you have to pick Georgia, I think, until they lose. I mean, they're playing at home. They're the number one team. But I'm just saying that if Kentucky play the air free and they have success running the ball, it wouldn't surprise me that now that I've seen Georgia up close in person, they're vulnerable on the defensive line. They give up a yardage running the football, and that's Kentucky's specialty.
Absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break. Half the show is already over. We'll be right back in just a minute. Everybody hang in there. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients.
If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdy.lawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand-new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Okay, we're back from the commercial break. Wanted to thank all of our awesome sponsors. Thank you so much for being with us. And by the way, the Gadsden Mall, and we're going to be working with them. That's a big account right there. So the mall is coming back. So we're really excited about that. We'll start, we'll have a couple of shows per month live at the Gadsden Mall and beginning next week. So anyway, we're really excited about that one. Thanks, Gadsden Mall, for coming on board. Okay, I have AP Steadham with us right now, and AP and I are, now I love talking with AP all year long, but especially during football season. I really dig it. So let's talk a little bit about Tennessee.
Yeah. Tennessee played South Carolina, last year, but people were bringing up that game because Tennessee allowed 63 points and South Carolina upset them. And their quarterback was injured, Hendon Hooker, during that game as well. But Joe Milton, the third and company, came back, and they beat South Carolina, had an interception for a touchdown, 41-20 on Saturday night. So Tennessee's rolling. They're getting that offense cranked up now. I think Joe Milton, the third, he's getting better each week. They had an injury. Brew McCoy, star wide receiver, he injured his ankle, broke his ankle, I believe. So he's going to be out for the season. Sorry to hear about that for Brew. So now he's got to go to some other people. But Tennessee, they're right on schedule. They play Texas A&M next week. They have a bye next week, October 7th. So they have time to rest up, kind of near the middle of the season. So that's good for them. And then they'll be hosting the Texas A&M Aggies in Knoxville on the 14th of October. So that's a winnable game for them. But Texas A&M had a good ball game. They beat Arkansas and Arlington, Texas, in a neutral site. So Texas A&M is a team that they're playing better offensively because Bobby Petrino was brought in as the offensive coordinator, and they definitely been scoring that 30 points or so a game. So that's going to be competitive, I think.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the SEC conference. And as far as the way you're viewing people right now, as we see it with AP and Kelly,
Right.
As far as what you're viewing right now, how would you rank the Southeastern Conference games or the teams?
Yeah, Georgia right now, we have to keep them at number one. They're undefeated, reigning two-time champion, winning ball games. They faced some adversity on the road against Auburn, pulled that out 27-20. So in the East, it's Georgia. I would say right now, Donna, and we're going to look at the schedule here for a second. I think that Kentucky game versus Tennessee and Knoxville, Lexington's going to be the 28th. That's going to be a crucial game to see who can really chase Georgia, Kentucky, and Tennessee, because I think South Carolina, although we knew that Spencer Rattler's a good quarterback, they don't have the supporting cast on defense. But Kentucky and Tennessee chasing Georgia in the East. Florida, they're not as good offensively. So we said before the season, I think you asked me about it, I said Kentucky's a team to watch. I thought bringing in that quarterback, the offensive line would be better. And they brought back the offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen from the Los Angeles Rams, who was there a couple of years ago at Kentucky, had some success. So we look on the East, we see those three teams. We look on the West, we're thinking LSU maybe is a team to beat, but they show they are surrendering so many points on defense. I just don't know if the offense can keep up. They have a tremendous offense. Jaden Daniels, he's 300-plus yards all the time throwing the ball, but he has to have a complementary football on the other side. So right now, Alabama's playing good defense. Offense is coming around, and then A&M as well playing good on offense, and their defense sometimes it's suspect, but they played well against Arkansas. And then Arkansas's defense is not good enough. So you look in the West, it's Alabama, Texas A&M. Now, Ole Miss is one loss to Alabama. And that offense is prolific at the moment. So could they just sustain that offense, because that's their strength. Ole Miss's strength is that offense. So they have they're hosting Arkansas in Oxford. They should win that game. That's a game you should win. Because Arkansas, the pass defense is suspect, and that's Mississippi's specialty, passing the ball. So Ole Miss in the West, Alabama in the West, Texas A&M in the West, and of course they all play each other. Alabama's played Ole Miss already. It has the command with that victory a couple weeks ago.
A lot of questions have come up about Alabama versus Auburn, and I want to talk about the national status just a few minutes.
Right.
As far as the way Auburn actually played, I'm reading one right now. Is the way Auburn played this weekend? How are they going to be playing against Alabama? You're going to see that same fight out there.
Yeah, Auburn played winning football, just didn't show up on the score. They couldn't guard that number 19, Brock Bowers, a sensational All-American tight end, the last drive. But if they can continue to have few penalties, run the football effectively inside and out, where the other team is trying to figure out, it's not something that's easily spotted. They disguise the run inside and out, and you complete the short passes. The receivers dropped some balls, Donna, on Saturday. You have to catch the football. It's right in their hands. They dropped the football, especially when they were trying to make the winning drive. You have to catch the football. The stage lights are on. It's the time to produce is now. It's now. We're going to drop the ball. We know this is our chance. This is our moment. We practice all week. Catch the football for your quarterback. Support him. So they have to improve in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk nationwide. How are you seeing everything right now nationwide?
Yeah, nationwide. You look at Georgia still at the top. Michigan's a good football team. Ohio State, Florida State. You look at USC scores a lot of points, but they don't play any defense. So that's an issue. Penn State's a good football team. They can run the ball, good quarterback play, tough at home. I think that Penn State, this is the year I think they might beat one of the teams, Ohio State or Michigan. I can't remember where they played those games at, home and away. I'm not sure. So you watch them, Florida, Florida State and the ACC, the Big 12. You still have Texas and Oklahoma. They're playing very well. You got to watch out for those two teams. They're going to play each other this week. in Dallas, Texas, Red River Shootout. So those are some of the teams. And nationally, Oregon, we have to mention them. Bo Nix is quarterbacking that team right now. Very good. Washington, Michael Penix, they're putting up a lot of points. So the Pac-12 was a battle, out there with USC and Oregon and Washington. UCLA could be in the mix. We don't know. Utah had the one loss now. But across the country, there's still quite a bit of competition within the leagues, Donna, within the league. Florida State, North Carolina, they have, I'm not sure if they're on the schedule, but, North Carolina, the team that's in that ACC, Clemson, they lost there a couple of times. So, but there's still some debate and games to be played within the leagues themselves. There's no clear-cut winners in these conferences that say, oh, Georgia's coming out of the Southeast and Michigan's coming out of the Big Ten. Or there's still a lot of games to be played where they can lose. So that's fun. That's what makes it so much fun. Because the season, you're extending your enthusiasm for the season. Is, gee, there's so much football to be played, and there's these tough ball games and home and away, and I don't know who's going to win or lose or who's going to win this conference and reach the championship. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Bo Nix and Auburn. Do you think Auburn would love to have Bo back, or do you think Bo is happy where he is?
Yeah, he's happy where he is, Don. This is his third year, I think, at Oregon, and he's putting up big numbers. His team is in contention to win the league, to be relevant on the national stage. So yeah, he's having fun. Fun.
Absolutely. We always talk about Cinderella team, and I think it's probably changed hands different times already throughout this season. Who's your Cinderella team now?
Yeah, the Cinderella team at this moment, Donna, I'm trying to think. I'm going to say Cinderella team at this moment. I'm going to say, and they've never been a Cinderella team, but I'm going to say let's watch Penn State. Let's see what they do in the Big Ten. Because, they had trouble with Ohio State and Michigan. Let's see if they can win one of those games and reach the championship of that league. Let's say Penn State. And I'm saying they're a blue blood team, so they're really not a Cinderella. But I don't see a Cinderella team per se, somebody that's not always in contention. I think, Oregon's been good through the years. Washington, and they've had some team been in the playoffs and things like that. So I'm going to say Penn State.
Let's fast forward to next season. Who do you think is going to pull it out?
Oh yeah, next season. That's
the lower, and could maybe be in the top 20 next year.
Yeah, a lot of football teams, a lot of football to be played down. But next year down there's 12 teams in the playoff. 12 teams in the playoff. So it's those teams that I just discussed, Donna, that should be good in the coming years. The Texas, the Oklahoma, and Georgia, and Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon. We don't know Washington what they're going to do. They need another quarterback, and the Bo Nix will leave as well. So we should. The USC is going to get good players. I don't know if they'll ever play defense. I don't know. They have trouble. Florida State seems like they're rebuilding that program to national prominence. We'll see if Clemson has a resurgence. Can North Carolina do something? I think Drake may probably leave their quarterback. So it's the teams that we spoke about in the prior conversation.
Absolutely. AP and Kelly, as we see it, 1 minute left in this segment. So what are you going to be doing this coming week?
Yeah, we're going to really dig into all these teams now. I had some great conference games, and we have some good ones on the schedule upcoming. So we'll talk about those teams, AP and Kelly, as we see it, every Friday on IC Radio at 4 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central. They can listen, and also we archive every episode as well. But check us out on 4 p.m. Central, IC Radio right here.
Well, you got a fan base right here in North Alabama and all over the country, basically. Okay, we're going to have to call it a day. Thank you, AP, for being on the show with me again. And thank you guys for watching us. I know you could be doing anything else, but we have fantastic guests, and AP Steadham is one of them. But thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time around. We'll be right back.